This is the story about how becoming a mom
changes you as a woman.
When I look into my child's face, their first laugh, their embrace, I forget myself and I'm floating in space.
Some find being a homemaker everything they want out of life. Others need a career, family, hobbies, and a spot on the PTA. Having it all. Is that possible, or are you just setting yourself up for failure? What does having it all mean to you?
Being able to work, being able to travel,
being a superb mother,
be with my kids.
Forget about your marriage, which is a whole other thing.
Today we're talking to Kimberley Clayton Blaine, author of Mommy Confidence and Mom, as we discuss. Can we have it all? You know, we look at other women and their family seems to be totally intact and they're working and, you know, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. How do we come to terms with what our all is?
How do I find my all? I need my own all.
Your all is with a capital A, capital L, exclamation point.
Yeah,
because your all is large.
In my book, I like to talk about our wish list. And the wish list is to help moms not just fantasize about, you know, how their perfect life would be, but to actually come up with the steps. How do I get to the things I want? Then you give yourself a timeline. It's like a game plan for your life.
I think also you got to be happy with what you do have. We're always writing lists about what we want. It's kind of nice to write a list about what we do have. For me, I have one thing on my all list, and that is complete and total financial security.
Well, that's the one thing that's missing from your all. That's not your all. Your all is...
But I have everything else. I think it comes back to the fact that I grew up from like very minimal means, and money was always a problem.
But you know what? I think...
And that's my one big all.
But you know what? But I would say you're setting yourself up for failure because pure financial security, I mean... What is that?
It doesn't mean I'm living in some mansion or anything like that, but I just want to know that I'm going to have money to send my kids to college.
Must you pick the most difficult wish of all, right? I think that what we want to look at is what are the things that we've been fantasizing that we know we can get.
Before I got married and had kids, I was a career woman, absolutely. But in my mind, my parents had a really bad divorce, and my dream has always been to have this perfect family. But I took over 5 years off with both my kids to stay home. And so now we're finding challenges in that my husband is really proud of what I'm doing, yet he has a hard time sharing me.
Right. So
Help.
because you're broke, that's where we get into that myth of women can have it all in the traditional sense. Because the old school way of having it all is you're going to cook, clean, and work, and have this amazing husband that spends a ton of time with you, and he goes to work and makes a lot of money.
I do think that that is still the modern day perception, and I think that's why so many of us do set ourselves up for
we
failure.
need to throw that perception in the garbage.
Yeah, I think that,
Goodbye.
I met a mom who brought her children to a play date, and then her nanny came in. A half hour goes by, 45 minutes goes by, and I'm like, are you going to work? She's like, no.
And she only has one kid?
Yes.
Oh, my
so
God.
Instantly, I thought I could do one of two things. I could judge her and go, oh my gosh, how could you afford that and not work? I mean, you're so indulgent.
Well, you know we'd be judging
But I
on
asked
that.
her why.
I would totally. I already am.
Why is your nanny here? And she said, you know, my husband travels. He is never home. I am alone all the time with my child. I can't do it alone. And that's where I was admiring her, because a woman who wants to do it all in the old school would never, she would just buck it up. And she'd raise that kid all alone while her husband traveled. And she would clearly say, this is how it's supposed to be. I chose motherhood. She didn't. She said, I need that nanny.
She may need her at home, but she didn't need her on the play date. Come on now.
Well, you know what, though? For me, I thought I had it all, but my relationship suffers from my all.
Right. So it might help you to sit with him and say, I know this is probably a big change for you. You know, I'm now doing this great show, and I'm not around, and I have someone doing the stuff I used to do. How is that for you? Because did you know when you let someone air all the things that are pent up, they're actually more accepting of the game plan. So if you let him just vent and vent and vent.
He vents.
Oh, he vents. There's no question.
But venting
Right.
at the point of coming up with your new game plan, your new wish list, where you sit down together and say, how can we both win? What can I give you? And working it out together so it's not just you against him.
I'll be sending you a thank you card if you fixed her situation.
Yeah.
Okay. I will be sending it to you as her partner in business. I'll be sending it to you. You can have it all. You just need to realize that the definition you are using is out of date. Redefine what having it all means to you. Don't compare yourself to others. You are unique and wonderful, and your all may be different than someone else's. That's okay. Remember, we're all in this together. Would you like to be on Mom Life?
Come visit our community at jenandbarb.com and see how you and your mom life can be a part of our show.
Brought to you by Truvia. Honestly sweet.
So Jay and I sat down and we did our wish list like Kimberly suggested. We learned that we have a lot of common things, but there were some that were not. And we added what we'll sacrifice and what we won't sacrifice. Seemed very helpful. But tune in and see. I'll let you know if it really works for us.